Welcome to another episode of Slow News. Today's episode is all about climate alarmism and the climate change sect, which is called Last Generation. You know, the guys who are sticking their hands to the asphalt and blocking traffic, blocking people from going home, from going to work, annoying people by the thousands in the Western world especially, because they believe the world is going to end unless we stop oil right now, better now than tomorrow, because otherwise the world is going to come to a catastrophic end. I'm going to show you that, and Good Morning Britain actually had an interview with one of the activists of Last Generation UK. I'm going to react to the whole thing, and then afterwards I'm going to show you why I don't think we are actually heading towards hell, catastrophe, doomsday scenario, whatever you want to call it. So stay tuned, it's worth it.
Essex police have confirmed an officer was injured while stopping a protester, and in a separate incident, the demonstration is believed to have led to a lorry collision.
Sam, I suppose if you have police officers injured and lorry drivers involved in collisions, the question answers itself. This is a danger now.
Well, good morning, Susanna. Good morning, Ed. Look, I'm a bloke from Essex. I've worked in construction my whole life, and now I find myself, like everybody else, in this truly crazy situation. Your viewers deserve to know that this disruption will end as soon as the government makes a statement that it will stop all new oil and gas.
That sounds a bit like a threat.
It's not a threat.
No, of course. This is not a threat. No. We're gonna stop being a pain in the ass to society if the government just gives in to our demands. That's not a threat, guys. That's just a statement of fact, I guess. Let's continue.
General of the United Nations has said that we're on a highway to climate hell.
But he's right.
He is right. And
But he wouldn't support, I don't think, what you're suggesting.
our government has broken its own climate laws.
What?
The UK government has broken its own climate laws. The laws are there to protect the British citizens, and the government has broken them.
We're on a highway to climate hell. I don't know, guys, but this already sounds really cultish to me. We're on a highway to eternal damnation. We're on a highway to total destruction. We're on a highway to hell if we don't stop oil right now. I don't think there is really consensus among scientists that this is the case, but let's continue.
What we say, surely negotiating is a better way forward than threatening.
We would be happy to negotiate with the government if the government wants to speak to us, because they say it's our demand. I mean, this is the demand that everyone wants. We know we need to make a transition to renewable energies. We know that carrying on with gas and oil losses is a death sentence to us all.
Do you see anything more? It's not just our demand. Everyone knows it's a death sentence. We're on the way to hell. We're all gonna die unless we stop oil. No, there is no consensus about that at all. I don't think we're all gonna die. I don't think the world is going to end if we don't stop oil immediately or as fast as possible. Yeah, there may be some additional warming, which I don't believe is going to be a catastrophe at all. But this guy is really... He's talking as if we're actually in the movie, the film. How is the movie called? The Day After Tomorrow? Something like that. Just as if the world is basically coming to an end unless we do X. And like everyone wants this. No. I've never met a guy like this in real life. I've never met someone who truly believes that, oh, we're all gonna die. No, I've never met someone like that. Maybe in Britain people are more crazy than in my country, but I've never met someone like that in real life. Thank God.
You see, these people are a little bit mental, a little bit crazy perhaps, and they are really convinced that the world is going to end soon because of global warming, that we are on a way to climate hell, that it is a death sentence if we continue using oil and gas. Now, I promise you that I'm going to show you some evidence why the whole hysteria may be a little bit ill-founded. Now, here's an article that I found. It's not too new, there's a couple of years back. Let me show you. That's a NASA study. It's actually comparing satellite images of the world and showing the change in leafy area, so the green area in the world, how that has changed in the past decades. Let's have a look at this article together. Now, this is the study back from April 2016. Carbon dioxide fertilization greening Earth study finds. From a quarter to half of Earth's vegetated lands has shown significant greening over the last 35 years, largely due to rising levels of carbon dioxide. All right, so that CO2 is just bad and warming is just bad is really refuted with that study. Let's have a look at the picture. So you see here we have the image of the planet basically, and you see in these different colors represent different percentages in the leaf area change. So dark green is the most change, most positive impact, perhaps is most plant growth compared to 35 years ago. Yellow is a little bit less than it used to be, and then it gets orange, red, and down to violet. And as you can see, the majority of the planet has actually seen significant greening over the last 35 years. So yeah, not everything is green and positive, but you can see here actually it's not all that bad, because CO2, in case you didn't know that, has a very positive influence on plant growth. In greenhouses they use CO2 up to 1,200 parts per million because it makes plants grow stronger, produce more crops, greater, bigger yield, and more resistant to bugs and disease in general. So there's a text here. Green leaves use energy from sunlight through photosynthesis, to chemically combine carbon dioxide drawn in from the air with water and nutrients tapped from the ground to produce sugars, which are the main source of food, fiber and fuel for life on Earth. Studies have shown that increased concentration of carbon dioxide increase photosynthesis, spurring plant growth. It's nothing new really, but here it is on a global scale, right? So actually very positive, a very, very positive impact of increased levels of carbon dioxide, and I may say also in general for rising temperatures. Now obviously there is also some caution included here. Let me just get that. They basically say, while rising carbon dioxide concentrations in the air can be beneficial for plants, it is also the chief culprit of climate change. The gas which traps heat in Earth's atmosphere has been increasing since the industrial age due to the burning of oil, gas, coal and wood for energy, and is continuing to reach concentration not seen in at least 500,000 years. The impacts of climate change include global warming, rising sea levels, melting glaciers and sea ice, as well as more severe weather events. So you see, they're not all praising the increase in CO2 in the atmosphere, but certainly providing some really, really positive impact that CO2 have had in the past decades, which we basically never read about in the media, because all is negative. All is always negative about global warming, okay? Which obviously it cannot really be, but there's also other pieces of evidence which I have come across over these past years, and I want to share with you, which actually show that maybe there is not so much reason to go completely tonto and to ring the alarm bell and believe the world is coming to an end and we need to take unbelievable drastic actions and we need to fear about climate change more than anything in this world. Now there's a very interesting, as I said, I'm actually from Switzerland and I can see with my bare eyes how the glaciers have been retreating in our Alps. So certainly there is warming going on, but that doesn't mean that this is some kind of an unprecedented event. Now here we have an article which is from August 22, so last summer, So the ice covering Swiss mountain pass since at least the Roman era will soon be gone. This is around 2,800 meters in height. So this is the Transfluren Pass is now partially free of ice that covered it for at least 2,000 years. Okay, a mountain pass which was in use at the time of Christ, more or less, or a little bit farther back even, which was used to to hike, which was used to go across these mountains at the height of about 2,800 meters above sea level, is now actually free again because the glaciers are retreating. And the obvious conclusion to that is, well, when that passage was there more than 2,000 years ago, obviously it was warmer, or at least as warm as it is now back then, right? Very, 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 very simple logic. If there was a mountain passage there, which then has been covered by meters and meters and meters of ice, and now this passage comes back in sight again and can actually be used again, it is because the glaciers are retreating and showing us some world that was there more than 2,000 years ago, where it was actually warmer than it is right now. So you can see, whoever says we have never experienced such a warm climate as right now is lying. It cannot be true. At least for Switzerland, it cannot be true. Here we have, now we leave Switzerland and we go to Alaska. There is also retreating glaciers. This is from Frontier Scientists, a forest revealed under glacial ice. This is from September 2013. And we see melting glaciers here. That's the glacier, and you see the years and how it has actually retreated. And here we have the scale in kilometers. So it was really big, as you can see, 1851. So yes, we have started to measure with thermometers in around 1870, I think, temperatures. And yes, just from glaciers retreating, we can see clearly that there has been indeed a warming climate. But maybe it was just pretty cold back then, right? This is another article about that retreating glacier in Alaska. And we have here from Bellingham Herald from 2021, actually, melting glacier reveals forest entombed by ice 1,300 years ago in southern Alaska. So the ancient trees that populated the forest are tumbling from the receding Exit Glacier, and they're showing up along the banks of Exit Creek. A photo shared by park officials shows one such tree was recently found lodged in rocks, in barks and limbs scraped away by centuries locked in ice. So, again, the section of wood was once part of an ancient forest that was entombed by Exit Glacier around 1,300 years ago. Alright? Sometime between 1841 and 1771, as the glacier has continued to melt back these pieces of wood are slowly, the piece of wood is slowly being uncovered. So we see again, thousands of years back, it was warmer than it is right now, because if there was a tree and if there was a forest in a place where we had a glacier not so long ago, that means obviously that this forest was actually killed by the expanding ice masses. And obviously when that tree was alive and vibrant, before this forest was actually done away with, before the forest died due to the expanding glaciers, it was obviously warmer than it is right now, for otherwise there would not have been a glacier there in the first place. So again, evidence again, this time from Alaska, that we have actually had warmer periods than we experience right now. And let's just continue actually, when we were talking about forests. Here, this one is a really great one. Traces of ancient rainforests in Antarctica point to a warmer prehistoric world. Now, this is from April 2020, and they're basically researchers have found evidence of rainforests near the South Pole 90 million years ago, suggesting the climate was exceptionally warm at the time. And this is just the artist's impression here. So the article goes on to say that the climate back around 90 million years ago, and here is the drill site in Antarctica, this is the South Pole region about 90 million years ago, right? So obviously continents were not exactly in the same place that they are right now, because there has been some shift, there has been some movement in that vast time frame. But basically the climate, they say in this article, in Antarctica was comparable and similar to the South Island of New Zealand, where there's also rainforests to this day. They're relatively cold areas, right? It's not like the Congo or Brazil type of rainforest. Obviously not. It's not a tropical area, but there's still rainforest there. So 90 million years ago, and now actually a map here about the continents, right, in the last million years. And I'll just make that a little bit bigger here. And we see that's the present day. Well, not really nice. I mean, Spain is never so far away from Northern Africa, but whatever. So you see 90 million years of, is not actually here, but we do have 65 million years ago. Down south here is Antarctica. We have 150 million years ago. That's Antarctica. So we see Antarctica has really been very, very far to the south already. And I've told you actually that the article goes on to explain that Antarctica had a similar climate comparable to nowadays New Zealand, the southern island of New Zealand. Now, the southern island of New Zealand, if you just follow me down here on the map, is up here. As you can see in Antarctica, even 200 million years ago has not been so much up north like the southern island of New Zealand. So it was really, really warm back then. Really warm. The South Pole was basically covered by rainforest. And you know what? Life on Earth was absolutely fine. So again, so we're not facing any kind of a doomsday scenario. Even if the Antarctic ice would melt, yes, the sea level would rise, but we would not be dead. Okay, so life has managed to adapt to changes over time, and it will do so again. So that being said, we are at the end of today's episode. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Give it a like if you liked it. Comment and criticize the hell out of it if you think I'm out of my mind. Tell me why. I'm always looking for improvements. By the way, I'm going to be away for the next couple of weeks on vacation. Maybe I'll come back with a little bit of a tan or a sunburn. I don't know yet. But anyway, see you soon again. Take care.